Hey everybody, I'm Brian Christopher. Welcome to Market Insights. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you have a question about anything we discuss. It really helps us for you to tell us what you want to hear about. Today, I'm excited to be joined by my friend and colleague, Ian King. Ian, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. We have some craziness in these markets that we've seen all week. And actually, also, I wanted to congratulate you on your new service, New Era Fortunes. We have a link to some discussion about the new product that right down there in the description. But congratulations! I know it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. It's something we've been working on for a little over a year now, and we're really excited to get this launch off the ground. So it's been a very exciting week.
Mm-hmm. When I was reviewing some of the background information for the product, I was amazed to learn that you've actually followed the cryptocurrencies for a while. Could you talk a little bit about, and Bitcoin is one that's been in the news a lot recently, almost reached 14,000 this week. Could you talk a little bit about what attracted you to this asset class?
Yeah, as you said, it's been an incredible couple of weeks for the world's largest cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's up about 30% since mid-October. And, you know, the big drivers right now I think are macro catalysts. So everyone says, why is Bitcoin up? Well, the answer is you don't really know for sure. The answer is always there's more buyers than sellers, right? Yeah. But if you want to talk about some of the macro drivers, you just have to look at every government in the world is enacting lots of fiscal stimulus, which means they're printing lots of money to fight economic slumps because of the coronavirus. And now that we have another wave of it, you're going to see more deficit spending, which means more money printing. And even though we don't have a stimulus yet in the United States, we probably will have one in the next couple of months. And that also means that your fiat currency will be devalued because there'll be more of these dollars out there. And so when that happens, investors look to something that they can hedge their currency risk with. And usually that's always been gold, right? Gold has been the ultimate hedge against inflation or devaluation of your currency. And now for the first time in 5,000 years, investors have an alternative in a digital store of value that is Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency that's not tied to a centralized entity. It's not controlled by a central bank, and its issuance is based on computer code. And so if you look at surveys of millennials, they're more excited about Bitcoin than they are gold, as opposed to older generations, which of course have been, excited to buy gold in times of uncertainty like this. And I think that's really what's been driving the latest rally, as well as some other news. But I think the macro driver is the key.
Well, and when you talk about the millennials, of course, they've embraced, they don't even know what it's like to go to a bank for the most part. They've embraced these digital payment entities like PayPal and Square, and we just got an announcement from PayPal the other day that it's going to allow its customers to buy and sell cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And actually, Forbes put out an article. They said that this was basically a $50 billion stimulus check for Bitcoin. What do you think? Do you agree with that concept?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big piece of news for the crypto markets because PayPal has something like 350 million users. So now you're opening up an on-ramp essentially for anyone who wants to trade their dollars or their euros or whatever currency they're using with PayPal for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And, we've already seen Square do this. So Square has the Cash App, which is the rival to PayPal's Venmo app. And so Square has allowed you to buy and sell cryptocurrencies now for over a year, I think about a year and a half. But this is just another on-ramp. It's another way for people to get into the crypto markets, and it reduces the amount of friction. Remember, when I first started in the crypto markets, it was very difficult. There was like one or two places that you could buy or sell, and these exchanges were getting hacked all the time. And now you can open up a Coinbase account like it's a TD Ameritrade account, or you can just download a mobile app like Venmo, and also the Square Cash App, and the Robinhood app lets you buy and sell Bitcoin as well. So there are plenty of places that you can invest in the cryptocurrency markets now, as opposed to what it was like 5-6 years ago.
Well, and then we have the concept of, buying and holding, or even, selling an investment in Bitcoin once it rises. But then we're also, and you spoke of the friction. And so we're also getting to the point, and I wonder, how far are we from the concept of using Bitcoin in our transactions? I mean, PayPal has millions of vendors that they're going to open this up to, where you can, pay them in Bitcoin. I mean, that seems like a really big deal in terms of, embracing crypto just in general.
Yeah, but I think the key is not whether or not you can pay in Bitcoin, but whether or not that the merchant can accept whatever currency they choose. So let's say you sell me a product and I want to pay you in Bitcoin, but you want to accept US dollars. PayPal and Square Cash App will do the conversion for you, so that I'm sending you Bitcoin, but you're receiving dollars. And I think that's a huge breakthrough, because, there's millions of merchants around the world, and not all of them want to accept cryptocurrencies. And some of them, most of them want to accept US dollars. And I think this currency conversion, it's what's really going to be key, I think, for, growth of using Bitcoin as a payment. But the gold markets really well, and people buy gold because they want to store it. No one's
That's
really
right.
going to 7-Eleven, with a chunk of gold and buying a Slurpee with it, right? So
Right.
I think that the key is that more people want to hold Bitcoin rather than use it as a medium of transaction. And that's why the price goes up, because a lot of people buy it and they just hold on to it. They put it away, and they try not to sell it unless the price, really goes up much higher. And because if you're transacting it with it all the time, and there's more velocity, you need less of that currency to appropriate the amount of transactions that you want to. If you look at, the accounting equation that comes in, MV equals PQ. And so the better thing for Bitcoin would be if more people thought of it as a store of value, because then the price would go up because they wouldn't transact with it. And like I said, you'd be transacting with it. I send you Bitcoin as a merchant, but you're receiving dollars. So I think that kind of explains my thinking behind the price rise.
Well, and now just recently we've seen a little bit of a price fall, which doesn't seem crazy when it's down a few $100s after approaching nearly 14,000 on Wednesday. But now we also saw some weakness in the broader stock market all week, really. Like, do you see these as related, and do we expect this kind of weakness to continue?
Yeah, one last thing on that, though. Don't confuse when I say store value with something that's always going to maintain its value. I think that's a misconception that a lot of people say. When you say gold is a store of value, you assume that it can never go down. This is not true with cryptocurrencies. In fact, in 2017, Bitcoin rallied from $1,000 a Bitcoin to $20,000. And that was an incredible 2,000% move. However, during that time period, there were 7 instances when it pulled back 20% or more. So you had 7 bear markets in this gigantic bull market. And so the volatility just comes with the territory, which is what I tell my readers. Don't chase cryptocurrencies ever. Don't ever feel like you have to go and buy something because the price is going up. If you feel that way about anything, about any stocks, if you have chase it, call your sponsor or somebody like that and say, I feel like the urge, I have to buy something. Volatile stocks and volatile cryptocurrencies always give you better opportunities to get in, and don't buy them after they run up 30 or 40% in a matter of weeks. And so I think we are going to see a little pullback in Bitcoin, which will be another buying opportunity, as the last couple ones have been.
Nice. Thank you for that clarification. Also, I know that people are worried about the market as well, and we've seen stocks, giving up some of their gains. What do you expect going forward with those?
Well, if you look at big cap tech like Microsoft and Apple and Google, they're all trading at historic valuations that are much higher than where their average is. I think I looked at Microsoft recently, was trading at 35 times earnings, and they beat, and then the stock was down. So that, I believe, that was expected. I think the market was up 60% or something like that from the March lows.
Right.
At some point, people are going to come in and take profits. There's a lot of uncertainty ahead of us, whether it's the U.S. elections next week, or does this coronavirus wave turn into more shutdowns? We saw in Germany they did a partial shutdown already, so that got investors nervous. So there are a lot of uncertainties out there. But the good news is these are known unknowns. We know that this is ahead of us. We just don't know what the outcome is going to be. And so from an institutional perspective, you can figure out ways to hedge your risk, which is what a lot of hedge funds have done. They've bought puts, they've sold calls against the market, and they've made sure that if the market does drop, significantly in the next couple of weeks for one reason or another. They don't have to be gigantic sellers like they did in February and March. So I think this is a totally different event. It's kind of like, if I tell you there's going to be rain, you're going to bring an umbrella. And if it doesn't rain, you're still happy because you brought the umbrella as an insurance policy. So that's the way I look at the market. I think if we get a nice 5 or 10% pullback, I think it's a buying opportunity into a year end. Now, if something happens after the election, something totally unforeseen, all bets are off. But if it goes kind of according to plan, I think that the market pullback will be a buying opportunity into the year end and also next year.
Wow, man, that's awesome insight. Thank you very much. We're gonna leave it here, but thank you for joining me today, Ian.
Oh, Brian, thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Also, and to everybody watching, these are amazing times, and it's important that you think about what to do with your money. You can't just put your money in the bank and get 5% interest anymore. So considering crypto is a good idea. Also, consider Ian's New Era Fortunes product. I assure you, you won't be sad that you did. He's got some great information inside in there. And to the extent that you've been listening to these podcasts, he's a smart dude. So thank you for joining us and have a great weekend.